Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Hold your horses. Stop taking it to the stupid. People out here telling me, man, oh, this is blue hat, blue hat. I don't know what blue hat means. You got to understand. I ain't one of these young cats out here. Don't talk that stupid shit on my channel. Oh, blue hat, blue hat. Somebody explains to me what blue hat means, what red hat means, what yellow hat means, what plaid hat means, purple hat, black hat, white hat. I don't know what that shit means, okay? But anyway, they keep telling me, blue hat, blue hat. Frank Martin didn't have Gervonta Davis out on his feet. Look, what y'all sitting here telling me blue hat for? Right? That's what Frank Martin said. That's what several people said in interviews. That it was good work, but Frank Martin had Gervonta Davis out on his feet. And Gervonta Davis got mad and won the street fight. Frank Martin was told that he was a beast. But anyway, forget that, right? Because sparring. There's a lot of guys who get, top-notch heavyweights. Boxers from all weight classes. Some get knocked out in sparring. That's what sparring's for. Working on the things you don't do so great. Hold on a second. I put them headphones on to charge, man, when I go for my walk in the morning. But that's what you work on, right? But I'm going to tell you, I think the fight is, I think it's competitive. But there's something that I think that Frank Martin is going to struggle with against Gervonta Davis, okay? And for those of you who are trying to, answer the question right now, oh, he's going to struggle with his speed. No, Frank Martin has speed, so does Gervonta. He's going to struggle with Gervonta's power. No, Frank Martin has power too. He can knock out Gervonta too. He's going to struggle with Gervonta's IQ. Maybe you're onto something now, Mick Nicholas. I think that tank IQ is going to be the difference in this fight. Now, when you take a look at Frank Martin, 18 wins, 12 KOs, 66% KO ratio, right? 5'8", 68-inch reach. Then you look at Gervonta Davis, 29 wins, 27 KOs, 93% KO ratio. He says 5'5", has a 67-inch reach. Okay? So the reach is the same. Difference in height is 3 inches. But let me point something out to you. Frank Martin showed me something in that Artem fight, that he can dig deep. That he can find a way to win. But he also looked lost in there in a lot of those rounds because the guy Artem, who was an Olympian, was giving Frank the business. And Artem was doing some things in that ring that Frank wasn't prepared for. And that's because it boils down to the IQ. Frank Martin started boxing late. Don't get me wrong. He's fast-tracked. He's fast-tracked himself to get beyond the learning curve. And that's why he's in the position he's in now. But I'm not sure Derek James, as good as he is as a film study and breaking down boxers and developing a game plan, I'm not so sure he's going to be able to teach Frank Martin how to deal with Gervonta Davis' patience. Gervonta Davis is a patient fighter. He will slow things down and drown your ass in the late rounds. He'll come out there, bing you here, bing you there. So now you're feeling the speed. Now you're feeling the power. He'll use some excellent angles. Now you're getting hit with shit you don't see, right? But he won't put it all together early in the fight. He does that to stress you out, to mentally break you down. And as the rounds go by, as a result of you breaking down mentally, then physically, the body starts to go. And by round 6, 7, 8, 9 against Frank Martin, I think Gervonta Davis will knock him out. Because I just think Frank Martin's going to be in there and going to be lost. And doesn't matter what Derek James tells him, I think he's gonna be like, okay, I hear you. But it's different when you're in there with someone who, it's almost like being put in front of the firing squad, right? And you know they're about to shoot. And nobody's saying nothing. And you're just there. And you know, ain't shit happened yet. But you bracing for that shot. You don't know when it's coming. You just in front of this firing squad and you flinching and shit. And then boom! But by the time it comes, you're already half dead. Mentally, you're gone. Your body's already gone through anxiety and everything else. And then you finally get hit with the shit. It could have just grazed you. And your heart will stop. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think it is like with Gervonta Davis, like being in front of a goddamn firing squad. Knowing you're going to get hit. It just went. And you can't get comfortable because you know you don't want to get hit with that shit. And as a result, it freezes up your offense. It makes you go full defense mode. And if the guy Artem was able to do it, don't get me wrong, Artem could fight. But he ain't Gervonta Davis. I think Gervonta Davis is going to be able to drown him. I think around 6-10. I think Gervonta Davis gets him. And don't get me wrong, I like Frank Martin. I think Frank Martin can fight. I think Frank Martin has a chance to pull off the upset, honestly. But but when I sit back and I strip the emotion away and say, okay, well, what do we know? That Gervonta Davis' patience is different, man. Hey, Gervonta could get behind the scorecards. But when he starts to bing opponents, the fight changes. It immediately changes. When Gervonta Davis hits opponents, the fight immediately changes. It's like with Terrence Crawford. Once Terrence Crawford goes into the phone booth and turns into southpaw man, he starts to bing you. The fight changes. So that being said, in my humble opinion, Frank Martin, who's an outstanding fighter, right? I think he's going to do great against Gervonta Davis. I think it's excellent to see southpaw against southpaw. But Gervonta Davis isn't Artem Haratunya. Gervonta Davis isn't Michelle Rivera. He isn't Jackson Marinas. He isn't Romero Duno. You know, he's not those guys. You know, Gervonta Davis is Gervonta Davis, also known as right now as Abdul Wahid. You know, the vicious Baltimore brawler with that ill left hand. Been boxing since he's been 6 years old, man. You seen them videos of Gervonta floating around him as a kid, hitting somebody with that left hand? Man had power like a goddamn grown man as a little kid. So I can only imagine what it does now. We see what it does in the ring, but I can only imagine what that shit feels like to get hit clean by him in them 8-ounce gloves. But Frank Martin, he has a chance. Can't try to dismiss him. The man has a chance. But at the end of the day, patience is key. And I think Frank Martin isn't going to know what to do with the patient, accurate, and deliberate fighter like Gervonta Davis. And I think he's going to get drowned 6-10, maybe around 8. I think Gervonta stops him in the breeze.